The 2015 Tianjin blast in China was not a consequence of substance fire as was authoritatively detailed. There is confirmed China's biggest and deadliest substance mischance which slaughtered more than 170 individuals a year ago at a holder stockpiling station in the port of Tianjin was caused by a small-scale atomic bomb. The reason for the impact was at first faulted for fireworks going off in the region and was later changed to broken explosives put away at a synthetic industrial facility. After an extensive stretch of media restriction and an exhaustive examination, Chinese authorities decided the reason for the blasts to be an overheated holder of dry nitrocellulose and put the fault on many degenerate authorities. New proof proposes that smaller than expected nukes do exist and are being utilized far and wide in places like Yemen, Saudi Arabia, Haiti and China, and their eventual outcomes are like what occurred in New York on September 11. Veterans Today reports, sometimes we jump at the chance to move quick on a breaking story to beat standard news with all their cash and labor. Furthermore, at different circumstances our intuition kicks in, instructing us to lay back a bit, contemplate the early revealing for pieces of information in the matter of what isn't being accounted for, and enact one of our forte significant examination groups. We tragically had greater action on our carrier crash group in the most recent year or thereabouts, where those groups are weighted with senior pilots and crash agents, generally through lengthy time span contacts. When we get into small-scale nuke examinations the rundown develops significantly shorter as there are less of those people around. As you will rapidly learn beneath, on the off chance that you don't realize what to search for and have some profundity in the startling study of what influenced different things to go blast, and the trail abandoned to disclose to you what it was, at that point having the confirmation before you is of no result. We have included more specialized material than expected for a general group of onlookers as this piece needed to likewise be composed for weapons and hazardous specialists around the globe, as they will get onto this amusement quick. Luckily explosives are a seriously considered field with gigantic measures of testing and information gathered. The general population who take a gander at this stuff in their calling must walk reference books of the past research so they can recognize a small sign in a photograph of enormous decimation. We have ventured up to the plate to do this since we have the capacity and for the reason I gave Dr. Jim Walsh of MIT's Securities Studies program. On an ongoing press TV the debate appear on the commemoration of the Nagasaki bombarding. I had intended to plug smaller than expected nukes by and by as the elephant in the lounge of dread dangers that the world presently faces. It is likewise one where there is an aggregate security, media and scholastic institutional remain down on notice people in general about any of this as in excess of a couple of nations have and are utilizing these. That gathering does exclude veterans today and it never will. We believe we have an obligation to push uncovering this risk until the point when general society awakens that in the event that they don't get off their butts and begin shouting you will see a greater amount of these incident. We have cautioned that doing nothing would just encourage those doing this, and we were correct. So I commit this article today to Master Mr. Walsh who is irritated with my specify of the smaller than expected nuke risk to the point of assaulting it saying. I think this thought there has been trying of smaller than usual nukes far and wide is insane trick talk. No genuine individual trusts this. There is a test boycott arrangement that has observing testing posts all around the globe intended to identify atomic blasts related with testing. They have never turned up any of this. I am aware of no genuine individual who trusts that. My setting obviously, which I am certain Walsh comprehended, was not informal testing, but rather live testing. As in on individuals and focuses to show what they can do and to make an impression on someone's. And yes, to threaten individuals. So Mr. Walsh, pardon me on the off chance that we don't think of you as and your pals genuine individuals as with you securing us we are fit as a fiddle. Furthermore, discussing that, you and your group need to take care of business or ship out, sir. Jim W. Senior Member. Update, we have a follow-up article demonstrating an edge-by-outline investigation of the blast video. 2 weeks prior an overwhelming blast occurred in the port city of Tianjin, China. Official reports guaranteed a concoction storeroom had burst into flames and detonated. Cell phone film taken by inhabitants demonstrated a tremendous impact and fireball. Inside days, airborne photographs uncovered the staggering degree of the harm. A steaming dark cavity marks ground zero, while the whole world-destroying encompassing scene is scorched and smoothed. Columns of wore-out autos and curved transporting holders extend into the separation on all sides. The aggregate consumed territory traverses 20,000 square meters and keeps on being perilous. More blasts were accounted for by Chinese experts on the 15th of August. Occupants inside a 3-mile range have been migrated. No less than 85 casualties of the mischance have been accounted for dead. We were promptly suspicious. Such tremendous blasts must be seen with doubt nowadays when strategic atomic weapons can and are utilized with disturbing recurrence. 9/11, the Khobar Towers, the Haiti earthquake and most as of late, airdropped on Yemen. The cell phone is radiation indicator. The key piece of information that enabled us to distinguish the utilization of a nuke in Yemen was the nearness of shining pixels, white spots that flashed on and off quickly in the cell phone recordings of the blast. The CCD imaging sensor inside the camera telephone is being struck by radiation, accordingly making a pixel overburden and seem white. Along these lines, a cell phone can serve twofold obligation as an unrefined yet powerful radiation locator. At the point when the Tianjin impact happened, I quickly took a gander at the cell phone film of the impact and attempted to discover glimmering pixels. I couldn't discover any, yet the colossal white-hot fireball and sheer size of the impact evident in the recording, shaken structures, breaking windows and so forth, absolutely didn't feel like an ordinary blast to my moderately untrained eyes. It was really VT contributor and master on everything atomic, Jeff Smith, who showed us about glittering pixels and the utilization of a cell phone camera to distinguish radiation. Subsequently I counseled him about the absence of glimmer in the Tianjin film. Glimmer depends on the separation from the impact. The more remote you make tracks in an opposite direction from the impact, the less neutron introduction you get. CCD cameras will recognize sparkle, however, just at abnormal states. They are not touchy to far-field radiation designs. All CCD cameras were too far away to be sufficiently touchy to indicate glimmer appropriately. So you need to take a gander at the whiteout in the focal point of the photograph. This is the place the splendor is great to the point that it overburdens the CCD pickup chip, causing a cutout impact. The way that the fireball was whited out or cut demonstrates that the shading temperature was more than 4000 degrees C.Celsius, just achievable in an atomic impact. The camera's auto pickup circuit cuts the video level for being too splendid, so you get a whiteout on the screen. No sparkle, however, a reasonable bit of confirmation showing an atomic blast as the immense white fireball. Indeed, cell phone film demonstrates helpful in disentangling reality. The parking garage is loaded with toasted autos. As reports and pictures wound up accessible, we contemplated them painstakingly for confirmation of the utilization of an atomic weapon, and tragically, it was not well before we discovered it. The main enormous intimation accompanying the photos of a large number of toasted autos that looked shockingly like those seen on 9/11. While a layman like myself can perceive the general similitude, it takes a specialist to completely dissect the proof contained in the photos. Fortunately, at VT we have such a specialist in the past, Jeff Smith, who gave the accompanying investigation. Ordinary individuals are not prepared in what to take a gander at, so they essentially overlook the self-evident. Be that as it may, once you see enough blasts like this, you start to detect the curios and the photographs genuine quick. Sadly, these individuals that know this stuff more often than not work for the legislature. Much the same as I did. The enormous piece of information is in the fiery remains created and the detonating radiators on the autos. They demonstrate the radiation and the impact designs the best. All softened elastic, glass, and aluminum, however no liquefied steel. This reveals to you it is from radiation and not from a gas fire. Temps between 1500 degrees Celsius for softening aluminum and under 3000 degrees Celsius for liquefying steel. Everything natural fiery remains beneath 450 degrees C.Celsius. This had a plasma fireball that was more than 4,000 C. Just a nuke can do that. The sign is in the white fiery debris remaining from the warm impact. A. The fuel tanks did not detonate. B. The elastic tires were not consumed. C. The white powder buildup around the autos. C. The radiators are altogether gone, showing freon blasts. D. All the glass is ashed or liquefied, likewise the glass was extinguished not in. E. All new white autos demonstrate outrageous impacts from high-temperature warming. The paint is gravely harmed because of a high oxidation rate impact. F. Silicone elastic tires powder at 500 degrees centigrade. Glass slag at 1500 degrees centigrade. Fuel at 250 degrees centigrade. Tires dissolved yet no gas tank blasts, simply like on 911. G. Yellow Volkswagen Beetle autos untouched because of area demonstrating radiation protecting from an adjacent building. Much the same as on 911. H. At long last and most vital is the greater part of the nanomolecule measured fiery debris on the ground all over. Purple murkiness in photograph means that dangerous levels of the gases fluorine, chlorine and sodium. Conclusion: the harm to the autos was delivered by neutron radiation harm and not by ordinary explosives or a fuel air blast. The separation from ground zero is excessively extraordinary for a standard impact, making it impossible to soften the glass and tires. Additionally, the auto's fuel tanks were protected. F.